It's YouTube Wednesday!
So this is just latex, and I'm going to use it as a mask because I don't want to paint these eyes. So I'm painting the latex over them, and then I will peel this up later. Sometimes chemicals in spray paint or other chemicals can make the acrylic in these acrylic eyes hazy. And this will also protect from that. Now he just has to dry. So this is an owl that I'm going to turn into bupo for a set as a nod. His base will actually be hand painted later. I'm just going to focus on getting the owl painted. Okay, let that dry, then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm using a Sculpt Nouveau Silver B coating, and I've just sort of started painting here. I did his body, but I want those wings to stay that gold or brass. And now I'm going to do around his eyes. This is a Sculpt Nouveau paint that I get from Biddy Mold Supply. It has some nice properties. I want to leave that gold ring around the inside of the eye. That's where we are now. And this has to dry. So this is a Modern Masters gold rush paint. It's also a very nice metallic. And I'm going to dry brush over the spray paint with this, and hopefully just get some different tones on there. Always kind of try to get anything extra off your brush. And this time I really am going to dry brush. I said I was going to dry brush before, and I didn't. So give me a couple different values in this gold back. Might be a little hard to see on camera, but I assure you they are there. You don't necessarily want it to be shinier, you want it to be deeper, you want to have a better value. Especially when you're going for brass. Gold very much carries its shine right up on the surface, and brass, you know, you look at brass and it just looks, it's a good deep color. Because I know this will be up high, I want to paint under the tail. Don't forget that. Time for a second coat. while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and paint this base dark brown or black, one of those. Okay, so here is the bird as it is dry. And the next step is to make all this pop with black wax. This is also a Sculpt Nouveau product. I get it at Bitty Mold Supply. I'm going to apply that all over, especially in those deep crevices. And then I have a little bit of time because the wax will harden. I have a little bit of time to kind of buff that out where I want it. Then I can do a little bit of a dry brush after. But mostly, this is going to be the last technique here. I'm going to put this on pretty liberal. What a great antique look this is going to give. I'm making sure I'm jabbing it up under the feathers because that's where I really want this to be. Really want this to look like it's aged and worn, and you know, it's been around the block, it's seen some stuff. That's what we want. Do a light. This is gold. Use the other brush I've got. It's a dirty brush, but I get most everything off of it first. This is just going to allow me to hit just the edges. And just re-brighten. See how this area looks a little bit brighter than the rest? This is just the spray paint that I'm spraying on the table. I find metallic spray paints are a little brighter than almost anything else aside from like a liquid leaf. All right, I want this to dry now. I didn't do a good job of getting the wax off from around the eye. I'm gonna try that now. Q-tips are good for stuff like this quite a bit. I'm not worried about the eye itself because I have latex over that, remember? And I got one that was looking down because I'm going to put him high up in the set. As I sit here editing, I want to make a note that all I did was I bought something and I repainted it in order to make it fit my needs. Making something doesn't have to be you sculpt it, you mold it, you do all that stuff. There's a joy also in buying something and then tailoring it to your needs. So many people think, oh, I bought it, I can't change it. And get that out of your head. Get ready to paint stuff. Get ready to cut parts off and fill them in and just make it right for you. Nothing ever comes to you finished. So often, even when I bought this finished owl, it was a raw material for me that I had to finish. I had to paint it. I had to make it work for what I needed it to do. And that's something that you guys ought to be doing in your stuff too. Let's take you to your new home, little buddy. This spot is a little bit behind the guests, but it's an Easter egg. I don't necessarily want it to be front and center, but I do want to be able to point it out when we do tours. And there you see a bupo in his natural habitat.
Go make stuff.
Real heroes of Still Beast, our Patreon supporters. Here's to you, Mr. I only buy Oops Paint. Everything is beige. You go to the store with a solid plan. My color palette's perfect. But then an $8 gallon of Oops Paint catches your eye. Might not hurt to change the color. Crafting Halloween perfection. Covered in the cheapest paint you can possibly buy. Still Beast really, really thanks you.